John then moves on to tell us about the lust of the eyes in 1 John chapter 2. So now this is different from the lust of the flesh. So what is the lust of the eyes? How is it different? Well, it is not looking at a woman lustfully, as Jesus says. This is adultery in the heart. So it must be something different from that. So what is it? Well, it is that the looking on something with contemplation or of on-looking. This is different from the flesh lusting through the eyes, or that the eyes minister to the lust of the flesh. For the eyes themselves have their own lust. So it's different from that. It is a lust that can be satisfied with sight only, which the lust of the flesh never is. Nor can it be. So, the example. It's when we look upon something, we may be pleased or offended by it. So, for example, I cannot stand the sight of more success in someone else's possession than in my own. It's sort of like, to a certain extent, maybe not quite like keeping up with the Joneses, but you look at somebody else, and yeah, you can't stand the sight of the fact that they're having more success than you. You're not lusting after their property, and so to a certain extent, you'd just be relieved if you saw them worse off than yourself. And that is, to a great extent, the instinct of corrupt humanity. It is the way of the world. And it is one of the world's ways that even when I renounce the world and say, I love God, I love my brother, and I renounce the world, I'm still apt to follow that way, or he's apt to follow me. I may be one in where looking at yesterday, where I don't have those sensual or sensuous delights. No longer stimulate the lust of my flesh, but my eyes are pained when I see someone happier than me and more secure than me, or doing better than me. And then, interestingly, when I see people getting away with murder, as it were, or prospering from their own wrongdoing and their wicked ways, then it angers me. I want to see justice done and see wrong righted. And yet, although I find myself not wanting to join in with these sinful ways, which seems to give the people of the world enjoyment, I begrudge their enjoyment of it. It's very interesting, the lust of the eyes. And we see this in the scriptures. David, for example, King David, in Psalm 73, he says that he's envious of the arrogant when he sees their prosperity, the prosperity of the wicked. He's envious of them when he sees them prosper. And that was his temptation. It was his weakness, and we see that in more of his psalms. That the same thoughts and feelings. It was the love of the world that he had, because it's a really dangerous form. It's very stealthy. It's very dangerous. It comes up upon us, and it just wins its ways. We see it even into David's heart, and for a time taking the place of God, and therefore he loved this more than he loved God. And for us, for myself, I see it in myself. And it's a very dangerous, very stealthy form of the lust of the eyes. And I pray that I and we may not succumb to that temptation. And now we know about it and we're aware about it, and then I hope and pray that will be the case. But for now, take care and God bless.